But as I said before, the whole purpose for this trip is to come talk with you.
Right, right.
That's why I came.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's, and you're getting to see what the other part of the country looks like, and it does something for you.
It does.
When you do stuff like
Travel is very rewarding.
It's more than is more than just one thing, one pleasure.
And I always meet on the way down yesterday. Talked to a flight attendant, and she had met Neil deGrasse Tyson had been on one of the flights.
Oh yeah.
And she was telling me about it, and we had a nice conversation. And then I was at a restaurant last night at the airport in Atlanta, and I asked the server, I said, well, what's the best thing that happened to you today? And he told me a wonderful story about he had lost his dog recently, but he still knew about where the dog, what litter the dog would come from.
Okay.
So he was able to get in touch with someone who thought they could get a dog related to his dog. And he told me that story was very heartwarming. And then he asked me, and I told him a story about this project that I want to do in Africa. Retired planetarium director there talks about maybe we can help solve some of the world's conflicts by using astronomy. If people look at something bigger than themselves, perhaps it can help in some small way to bring peace to the world.
Right, right.
I'll talk to you more about that.
I think that's a great idea.
So it's been put on my heart, as we were talking about meditation, it's been put on my heart to do another project in Africa.
Right.
Maybe dealing with orphans and astronomy.
Orphans would be a good place to go.
But I can tell you more about that later. I want to get into the interview.
Right.
I think I pretty much at lunch, one of the questions I had was your personal background.
Oh yeah.
And you told me about that at lunch, so I've written that down, so I'm going to skip that one. Let's see here. So, Cape, are there any, I know the basically what happened there, but are there any special memories that you remember about the Cape meeting?
That was in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
That
1970.
was in, and that's where John Hare was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing him there,
Mm-hmm.
but he was a lot younger.
Was that,
I mean, he was a lot younger.
was that the first time you met John?
That's the first time I ever met John. And that's the first time I met Von Dale. And I can remember that during that Cape conference, Jack Horkheimer came up to me and said and wanted to know if SEPA had anybody to do their magazine or their newsletter.
Right.
I said, no, but I tell you what, if you're asking for it, you can certainly have it.
And did he then?
And he did it.
Oh, wonderful.
And he had a wonderful one for about a year. And then I can't remember, I think it was in '74 that he had us down there.
In Miami.
In Miami. And is that the first one you went to in '74?
No, the first
Was it?
first SEPA I went to is because you had the council meeting at Cocoa. That was the first SEPA I went to.
All right.
And that was a wild and hilarious meeting, and I think in several years afterwards a tornado went through and blew down that motel that we were at.
Right.
But they were lucky they survived SEPA back then.
Okay, some of the other things we also talked about at lunch regarding the Constitution Committee. I was somewhat confused by that meeting in San Francisco,
Oh, yeah.
but as you clarified, that took place before CAPE,
That was before
And-
Cape.
and that's where people talked about we need to have a
Right,
national or
and that's
international.
when we went from San, I can't
Yeah, the place where,
remember.
the place where Tom Gates was,
Right,
which is where Carl
Yeah.
is now.
right, okay, that's where we were, that's
In
where we
Alta.
met. And I remember giving a talk there, and it was education in the planetarium. And I was telling how I did it for teachers in North Carolina. And I had somebody to ask me, said, did you, what do you think about your voice, you being a Southerner and everybody listening to you as a Southerner? I said, well, did you understand everything I said? He said, yeah. I said, well, there's no problem with it. Because that, as long as you can understand me, that's all that counts. It doesn't matter. I had just a good friend to have a stroke. He was a professor over at Pembroke and retired over there in about 4 years ago. He had a stroke and died. But he was from Wilmington, and he talked so slow, but he was methodically when he spoke.
You had to be very patient.
He was very patient.
So I understand that meeting in San Francisco was referred to like Neo Cape.
Right. Well,
And
it was and Kaufman
Right.
is the one that came up with the idea of we needed this thing,
An organization.
and we should have it for $75 a member, and that's when that got hold of me.
Yeah.
I mean, that really got hold of me, because that was talking like the elite group that was already, I think there were about 10 or 15 of them.
Right.
There were Chapel Hill,
Right.
Adler in Chicago, and
Right.
one in New York.
IPCD, correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then, let's see, that covers. So, and again, as we talked about at lunch, ISPE was not officially formed until the Constitution, the bylaws were written
Right.
and ratified
That
in
was in
1972.
72.
Right.
And it was that summer when SEPA met. And I think it was, I think most of the other meetings, I think GLIPA and MAPS probably met sometime in the summertime,
Right.
the first of the summer. And the reason for it was because that's when the schools were out.
Right.
And they didn't have schools coming in. And so that's the reason I set mine up for June anyway. Because the schools were not operating full blast, and they were just out of school for the holidays. And so that's the reason most of the planetariums throughout the country were in the summertime, I think.
Good.
iPad.
Oh,
I wanted to read something from there.
okay.
Isn't that right?
Yes, most of the schools were out in the summertime,
Right.
so the organization really got its beginning in the mid 1972.
Right, in the summer of '72, when most of the, I'd say just about every one of them by August, it was pretty well ratified, and they accepted it. just about. And so that's when it was formed. And I think in '74 we had a meeting.
Right.
And
I mean, the first conference was in San Francisco.
right,
The first biennial conference of
Right.
ISPE
right,
was in San
That was
Francisco.
in San Francisco.
Right.
And that's where I gave the talk, and the guy asked me if being
About
a
your
Southerner
speech.
bothered
Oh,
me.
yes. I say, Ken, can you grab my backpack? The writing I want is actually in there. I wanted to ask you about something Dale Smith wrote
Oh yeah,
in his article, his first president's message in no, it's not there either. You see any other papers here?
is that
There's
your-
a paper sitting on the
The
desk.
That's
papers
it.
and-
That's the
Okay.
ones I want.
Oh yeah.
So this is Dale's first president's message, 14 pages.
Oh gosh.
And at the end he says, I know that this is a little bit long,
Right.
but so I'll delay other news that it could have included.
Right.
But anyway, here's what he wrote about you. It says, Jim's messages emphasize the diversity of knowledge among planetarians, the mutual support and friendships we share with each other, and the inspiring nature of our field. And I was especially struck by friendships, the friendships that we share with our colleagues
Right.
in not just the United States, but around the world.
Around
So
the
I
world.
wonder if you could comment on that a little bit. You know,
I've never been in. I've gone to Stockholm. I've been to Hamburg. I've been to Portugal. Now, I went into the planetarium in Portugal and it was closed because they didn't have anybody to operate it, and that's a fact. But I went into the one in someplace in Italy, but I cannot remember. And something, I think they were in process. They were in a show. They were getting ready to end it, and my group was moving out or something.
Okay.
I can't remember, but
so did you feel welcome when you
Oh,
visited
yes,
these
yes.
facilities?
oh
And
yes.
because
very
you
much
were
so.
a fellow colleague.
But now at Dennis's place, we had 16 of our people. That we had 30. I think we had 28. We had 28 or 30 people on a Grecian tour
Oh, to Athens, Greece.
to Athens, and we went to Macedonia. We went to Crete. We went to Patmos. We went to a lot of places.
So you were able to visit
And
the planetarium in
right,
Athens.
and Dennis, I told him when we would be back in Athens, and I had to get in fact he got 5 taxis or 6 taxis in a row because I had to tell him how many were coming, and I had to find out how many were coming. There were 16 of us, and so it was about 4 taxis that he had parked out in the front.
Yes.
We all got in, and they took us right straight to the planetarium,
Yeah.
and it was fabulous. I mean, it was a show of shows.
So probably your fellow tour participants were,
Right.
who does this man know?
Right.
But that reminds me of
Right.
and another I read, like I said, all of your president's messages, and
Right.
in one of your president's messages, you talked about your trip to Mexico in 1980,
Oh, yeah.
and you used the phrase, how can an individual be honored so much?
Right. Right. Because
That was the Monterey meeting?
Oh, no, this was
No,
your
that
was
was
president
in,
in
that was
1980.
in Mexico City.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
And I remember the mistake I made. I made a statement like, well, they were talking about putting up, developing a planetarium association in Mexico. And I said, well, why don't 4 or 5 of you get together and set up a constitution and get the others to approve it and all that, and see if you can develop it. Because I went down there for that process.
You had an agenda.
Right. And because they asked me to come. And that was a mistake.
What was the mistake?
The mistake was asking them to develop the Constitution and get it approved. Well, it was only 4 or 5 of them there. So I figured that would be the thing to do it, but I could tell, no, they couldn't do that. And that kind of,
Was it that they disagreed with each other, or
well, I don't
they
know.
couldn't get organized?
I don't know what it was, but I just felt like I was asking too much.
Right. Or maybe they weren't used to writing constitutions or bylaws.
Maybe that might have been it.
It wasn't the
Because-
way that they did things, maybe in Mexico.
Right. And I always felt like I was stepping out of bounds when I
Right.
did that.
But you said you felt honored. I've had this discussion with some people, when they're showing you all this respect and honor,
Right.
in my opinion, they're not really showing it to me. They're showing it to the office of the president of the
That's exactly right.
IPS
That's exactly right.
for the respect.
Because you've been in that situation.
I have. When I was in,
And you feel like, I don't deserve this,
Yeah.
but
I was at, I forget which conference, and some of the people from India came, and I visited their planetariums in India before becoming IPS
Right.
president. And they came, and they had this garland of flowers,
oh yeah.
and they draped it over me, and I think they even had a cloth they put over me.
Oh, yeah.
And they gave me these gifts, and American presumption would be, oh no, don't make a big fuss.
Right.
But they were honoring the office.
Right.
They weren't making a big fuss over me.
Right.
They were honoring the
But
office
you know, it's
of
kind
the
of
president.
hard to separate yourself
Oh,
from
it is. It is.
You know.
But
But anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed the meeting, and we flew from Monterey down to Mexico City.
yeah, I saw that in your article.
And it was in Monterey that I took that sometime before I had taken my superintendent, and what he did, he saw we had a. Let me go back. They had some kind of festival going
In Monterey.
in Monterey. And I mean, there was 10,000 people. I mean, we were just so close together. It was unbelievable. And they took us out there, and we were just. I mean, we were just tighten up.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw something go up just spinning. It was some kind of festival.
Oh, wow.
It was just spinning with all kind of rockets around it. And it was just, I mean, it went up probably 200 or 300 feet high. And that thing started coming down, and I said, Lord have mercy. And it came down. I mean, I tell you, I just moved away, and it hit right there. I mean, it just, shoo, just like that. I don't know where everybody went to, because there was no place to go. But it just opened up like that, and it hit right in the middle.
So this was by design, part of the festival?
Well, it was part of the festival.
Or was it an accident that it landed near you?
But, well, it was going to land somewhere.
Yeah.
It just happened to land near me and my superintendent. But we really enjoyed that, and they came in and we had about 11-course meal.
Wow.
I mean, to tell you, that was the first time I went to Mexico.
Yeah, wonderful.
And then later that year, I went down to Mexico City, and that's when we had the dinner, and
Right.
we had talked about forming the Mexican group.
In Dale's president's message, he had each of the past presidents write something in 2000,
Right.
concurrently with when he was writing his president's message. And in there, you mentioned one of the things you had done was you had contacted many individuals about the word planetarian.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit about
and
that?
I went to I had found out that the word planetarian had to be published in the New York Times or in or mentioned on television or it had to come in some big way, be used 3 or 4 different times for the Webster's to use it as a word, to designate it as a word. And so in 1988, I was in England. And when IPS met in England, and I made a talk on the planetarian, how we had to use it more often to be able to make it where Webster's would use it as a word. And I don't think it's a word yet, is it?
Haven't seen it.
No. You'd have to look it up. I'll remember to look it up and see.
Right, because I've looked in the books a lot of times to try to find it, and I can't find it. But planetarian was a person that was an individual who was operator of the planetarian, and I can't remember who first used it.
Norm Spieling, I believe.
Norm Swirling?
Norm Sperling.
Yeah. Was the person that coined that term, if I remember correctly.
Right.
I read it when I was reading some past
Right.
issues of the Planetarian.
Right.
So now during your presidency, several times you use the word philosophy or your philosophy. Was there a personal philosophy that guided your presidency of the IPS?
Well, I remember what I wanted to do was I wanted it to be a knit of people. I didn't care where they were, who they were, or how big they were, how small they were, what color they were, or what religion they had. Because I wanted them to be respectful of one another. And I've always felt that way.
That's what you wanted
That's what I wanted.
for IPS.
Right, because I didn't want us to feel like that we were better than anybody else. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Because that's like what the IPDC was, where
Well,
they
that-
thought
that's
they were
what
better than everybody
They
else.
thought they were the elite. They were the
Yes.
elite. They drank their wine and smoked their cigars, you know.
Let's see, Ken, did you find planetarian?
I did. The American Heritage Dictionary defines it two definitions. One, an inhabitant of a planet, okay, and then a member of a professional staff of a planetarium.
Oh.
So it is in the American Heritage Dictionary and also
Wonderful.
in the Oxford English Dictionary.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So,
So
I think what you did,
so maybe we've
Or
gotten
fruit.
it in there, but the planetarium was an individual, the way I remembered it anyway.
so any other thoughts about your philosophy?
No.
Okay, I'll come back to that in a little bit.
The only thing that I can see where we need to get involved more, or how the planetariums should get, all planetariums should get involved more, is in the arts. You know, in the
Right.
musical world and the ballet, and that's an art. In dance is an art. In music is an art. Everybody uses music,
Right.
and we use all kinds of music, and we even have people developing in their own music. And so I think we should be included into the arts. Because every city has an art guild, and so the planetarium ought to be involved into every city in the planetarium arts, or the arts of the
Right.
city. That should be part of it.
Very good point.
And I guess that's the only way I know how to put it.
And then you made, of course, reference during your president's messages to the team of individuals you were working with. People like Dave Rogers, president-elect, Don Hall, past president,
Right.
Dave Batch, executive secretary, Walt
Tencher.
Tencher, treasurer, and then you had people, John Collins, chair of publications, Ron Hartman, director of publications,
yeah.
and Dave Hoffman, IPS executive editor. So I was wondering, do you have any memories or lessons you learned working with the team, or any good stories about working with that
I think
team?
Ron Hartman was probably,
Didn't he really get the planetarium going?
he got the planetarium actually on its foot.
I mean, the magazine.
Yeah. And Walt Tencher was, I think he was as nice a guy.
He was from Thomas Jefferson High
Thomas
School.
Jefferson High School and
later he was
Alexandria,
in-
Virginia.
Yeah,
Newport News,
And
I
he
think.
was there
Newport
with
News.
The girl.
with Jane.
No, not Jane Gohegan was in Richmond.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jane Gohegan was our secretary. Was
Anyway, Walt was a treasurer for so long, and
Right.
right, and they were just wonderful individuals, just
Right.
wonderful people.
And they worked together
And
well.
I corresponded with Phyllis Pitluga.
Phyllis Pitluga.
Oh, yes.
She was at Adler, I
Right.
think, at the time.
She was at the Adler in
Right.
Chicago, and she married Dr. Pitluga's son,
Right.
and that's the reason she was called Pitluga, and she got into
You
the
have to
planetarium.
leave.
I have to take my leave.
Hey, you got,
Can we,
Thank you.
hey, send me the email.
I will.
And if I'm here,
Okay.
I'll do my best
Thank you.
to do whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and let's try to get.
So just a second. Ready?
It's rolling.
The
you were
first
talking-
chapter in this, you can find some information in it about Jack and Dennis
Oh.
giving me that thing, and that was 36 years after it happened.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
But
I'm going
I
to send
even-
you a picture. I found a picture of you getting some sort of award, but I can't, even with resolution in the picture, I can't read what the award says. But I think it was either your award as outgoing IPS president or a SEPA award. It's hard to tell.
Oh,
It's in
yeah.
it is a picture in, I had it in with my SEPA files, but it could be IPS, so I'm going to find it and send it to you.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
You
great.
can try to tell me who or when or what it was.
But that was the first time in 32 years that I told that story, because I was scared to death for 32 years
To tell the story
to
of.
tell the story about the dynamite,
Oh, yeah.
because it just, I mean, it blew up the whole community. I mean, it busted out windows.
Yeah.
I mean,
You were trying to recreate the Big Bang?
Yeah. So, we were talking about your team,
It's rolling.
and one thing I noticed was that you had John Cotton as the chair of publications,
right.
and then you had Ron Hartman was director of publications production. What did that mean? He was like the editor of,
He was the editor. Ron Hartman was the
of the
editor.
Planetarian.
Right.
And then there was Dave Hoffman, IPS executive editor. What did he do?
Now, he's the one that got all the information together for the IPS group. He's the one that got all the information from the other
Oh, so
planetarium.
he edited like the directory.
Right, from the other. In fact, that's when we started the directory, I believe,
Right.
or tried to.
Okay, then there was this was in one of your president's messages. No, wait a minute. That's
Let
not
me
the
tell
right-
you what happened. The reason I don't have all this. I had a little building out here at the back about 15 years ago. No, it's been longer than that. We've been here 32 years. It's been 18 years ago. And I was at an IPS conference or somewhere, I was not home anyway.
Right.
And so we had talked about getting rid of the house. And because it was over there in the corner, and it was used for the building of this house, because
Right.
it had a table saw in it and some saws and some nails and all that. But I also had all my IPS boxes, everything I had, the president's letter, everything else, everything I had. Even I had some of my planetarium programs that I sent everywhere. I had a copy of that in there. Well, when I was gone, she told them to move it. They took the whole building and everything and just took it to landfill.
Oh, no.
And that was all of my IPS stuff, everything that I had was gone.
It's a good thing you're a forgiving person.
Well, I mean, you know,
What can you do?
what can you do? You can't bring it back.
No. So here's in the summer of '78, you wrote, this is before you'd been president-elect. You weren't
Right.
president yet. And you said, the planetarium field is beginning to have influence on society. We must attempt to achieve respectable international recognition, initiate an effort in achieving greater acceptance by those in positions of administrative power.
Right, that
So that was-
includes the mayors and the,
even up to the Congress,
right,
the president,
right.
and then you wrote about, you even testified before the Senate
The
subcommittee
Senate, yeah,
on
I
appropriations. And what was the result of that testimony?
Some senator wrote it down, and I don't know what they ever did, but several years later, this is interesting. I wrote an article. I wrote the senator, one of the senators, an article about something, and they wanted me to. They wanted my permission to use 2 sentences out of it.
Do you remember
So-
what those sentences were?
Yeah,
approximately.
the sentences were something like, we need to look to the future. We need the initiative to look to the future and have the worthwhile to do it correctly, or something like that.
Yeah. I could see why they would want to use that.
And so I sent it there, and they published it in the Senate Journal in Congress. And but when I was there, and I never forgot this, I had a pretty long sheet to talk to them,
Right.
and I was talking to something that had a microphone. I guess I could probably write them and probably get a copy of it.
Probably. They probably recorded it, and
I'm sure they recorded it. And what I saw was all the 12 constellations were in the corridor, up in the
Senate chamber.
in the Senate chamber, all the way around.
Neat.
All 12 of them.
Wow.
And I saw that, and I told him, I said, this is part of it. And just look around there,
Yeah,
there
isn't
it
that
is.
amazing?
The ecliptic is
Yeah.
there, and that's it.
And then well, this would have been one of your last, I think it was your last president's message. You wrote that you were disillusioned, plunged to the depths by unkept words and lack of action. Yet my underlying philosophy was not shaken. So, what was the underlying philosophy you're referring to there? You're saying my underlying, even though you were disappointed.
we never obtained the good recognition I thought that the
Okay.
planetariums should have,
And we haven't to this day.
and we still haven't. And that's the reason I want to get into the arts.
Right. That might help.
That might, after 50 some years,
Right.
we might be able to do it.
So your underlying philosophy was that planetariums should have recognition of what they do in society, and that by that recognition, the resources might be made available so planetariums could serve
Now let me tell
society.
you what I'm gonna tell you what I want to do.
Okay, tell me, please.
When I'm 84 years old, if I get to be 84, I want to go to the IPS conference, and I want a 15-minute speech. And in it, I want to tell them what the planetarium world is and what I want it to be.
You would be 84 in what year?
Let's see, that's 4 or 5, 6 years from now.
Okay. So we do not know yet where the conference will be,
Right.
but I will tell other people. So I think you need more than 15 minutes.
Well,
You could be-
I taught about 20 minutes in England
Right.
at IPS conference, and I tried and I wanted to do it before the whole group,
Yeah.
but they stuck me in a room, and
Right.
I had maybe 15 people in there.
See, that's why I think that you should be. No, you've been involved in the planning of conferences, and so have I.
Right.
And you should be one of the invited speakers. So then you would speak to the whole group
Right.
rather than just have a single paper
Right.
that only a few people might attend.
Right.
So that's a very good idea.
Dave, I tell you what, one of the most outstanding events that I can remember is when I was in January. This was in the fall. We met in Vondale was at the Smithsonian,
Okay.
and we had some kind of get together.
Like a officers,
It was something.
Meeting.
It was something in Washington D.C.
right?
And
Or was
I
it the
guess
whole society?
Yeah, there were about 500 people
Oh,
there.
so it was a conference.
It
There
was
was
a conference of
there was
some
an IPS conference at the Smithsonian at the planetarium there.
All right, but I was coming up as the president,
Right.
and I was the last speaker, and everybody else had come down from the thing. And I don't remember what I said, but I remember one thing I did say. And it was because I had, about 2 or 3 days before, I had been coming down 95, and I saw one of the biggest meteors
Uh-huh.
come straight down, slow.
Right.
I mean, fairly fast, but slow. Slow in compared to,
Right.
and it exploded right there, and I
Amazing.
just couldn't get over it. And so when I went up, I said, I got something to tell everybody. I said, I don't know what it is. I said, but it's an explanation mark for what I'm going to do, or what I might do. I don't know what.
Yeah.
And I told them that story.
Oh, wonderful.
And I still remember it just like if it was
Yeah.
yesterday, And when I left, I said, that's maybe the beginning of my planetarium presidency.
Oh, wonderful.
And so when I turned around, everybody stood up and gave me a standing applause.
I think you made reference to that in your first president's message.
I
know.
tell you what, I couldn't get over
Let
it.
me tell you a quick story. I think a lot of times we're inspired, especially as an officer,
Right,
to speak. In China, at our IPS meeting, we were having passing out awards, so I got Past President's Award.
oh yeah,
And I was struck by one of the speakers that talked about Neil Armstrong.
right,
And a year or two before he passed away, he said something to the effect that as the 20th century was a century of technology, is my hope the 21st century will be the development of the human character.
oh yeah,
And then we also had these children that danced for us at the beginning of our IPS conference. So I said, here's what Neil Armstrong said, and these are the children that are going to help accomplish that. And it just came to me,
right.
and they said, the people that were listening, some people said, it's like God inspired me to say that.
Well, it might.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Like for example, why did that was not even in my
No.
speech. And why did I even mention all that?
Right. Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just think the good Lord up there knows
Yeah.
what's going to happen to us anyway.
So are there any other particular highlights of your presidency you would like to speak about? I mean, you've spoken quite a bit, but are there anything else you can think of about your
Oh
presidency?
gosh,
I mean, it's so,
I don't know. There's so many things.
Yeah.
You know, I do remember that when we were meeting in Cocoa Beach, and I was the president of that, and the newspaper came and I had and I made some statements that when I got home and looked at them, I don't even know where they came from.
yeah,
I mean, they were just. It was not even me.
right.
I mean, it was
know
just too. It was too.
I know exactly what you mean.
It was too. It was too something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it was. I don't know how to explain it, but
I can understand. I mean, I've experienced the same thing.
so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I've always, that was one thing that always struck me. That, and some of the same things has happened when I'm teaching that. Not every time,
Right.
but sometimes things happen, and I don't know where they come from.
Now that I just thought another question regarding your presidency. What, let's say, how would I put the words? You were nominated to run for president-elect. What made you accept the nomination? What was your motivation, or?
I wanted to. I don't know. I was young. I was just. I was only about 34 years old. I mean, I was just a young one. And I just when they asked me about it, I told them that I would love to. Because I think I can accomplish something.
And I think I read in one of your messages that you could give something back
Right.
to the society.
You want to
Right.
anyway. You know, it's just like when you pay for somebody's meal. It's just something you just want to do. You can't explain it, but but you know, and I had a school psychologist to come over in the planetarium, and his office was across the street, and he'd come over every morning drinking coffee with me. And he and I talked for, I guess, probably for 2 years, every morning, about, over a cup of coffee.
Wonderful.
And out of all those times, the one thing that came out of it was that you've got to have the initiative. You can't beg it, borrow it, or steal it. You've got to have it from somewhere. The initiative to accomplish something. It's got to be born in you somewhere, somehow. And that's what we finally came up with.
And how can we encourage new planetarians, people who are coming into the field to get involved and eventually perhaps assume
Right.
a leadership role? Do you have any
Right.
ideas about that?
I think that has to do with the individual. I think first place, it takes a unique individual to become a planetarium person.
Right.
I think,
It does.
and to stay in it. I mean, you know, some people come and they don't get out. They get out of it. But I think it's in you to start with, from somewhere. I don't know when it starts. I don't know, but I think that,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I just I get teary eyed when I think about all that.
Yeah. I mean, I've, not only think about what motivated me to accept the nomination. It was similar to what you said, to give something back.
Right.
And it was an opportunity. I mean, someone has to do it.
Right. Right.
And if no one wants to hold an office, the society would just.
Right.
And that's
exactly right.
I believe that IPS is very important.
Right.
And so that's what. And I've talked to many people that they said it was in their heart.
Right.
They wanted to serve.
Well,
And-
see, that's what I'm saying. It's the initiative to do something. You have to have it.
Yes.
I know of at least two people that got into the planetarium field and then got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they stayed in it for several years and then get out of it.
Now this is a short question.
Okay.
You used a word in your winter 1980 message. Well, I scanned it on my iPad and read it on the airplane when I was coming down yesterday, and there was a word I did not understand. Here you said, I feel that without life and without thoughts, the Wilkin.
Wilkin.
What is Wilkin?
The Wilkin is the entire universe. And let me tell you what has happened on that. I've tried to look for it. I have seen it. The Wilkin is everything in the universe, everything that's in it. And it includes, there's nothing left out of it. It is the infinity of the universe. Just like the cosmos and the word universe.
What language does that come from? Do you know, Wilkin?
I don't know where it comes from.
No, I just looked online.
I've looked at it several times because I've used it and people's asked me, where did you get that from? And I got it out of a dictionary.
See, I looked at an online dictionaries. They don't have it.
It's not in there. It's not in the Webster's dictionary.
Maybe out of the Oxford.
Well, see,
Unabridged,
that I'm glad you asked that because that has bugged the fire to me.
Because I was looking at that word and I said, I've never heard of that word before.
I've got here's Webster's, and I'm supposed to have a ultra big one somewhere.
And we can look for it another time.
Okay.
But now I know what you mean.
But
Because I was looking for it.
But that's what it is.
And
That's
couldn't
what I
find.
meant for it to be. Is the Wilkin is just another way of saying, like for example, the word cadre. Cadre.
Cadre.
Yeah.
Huh?
Spell it. C.
C.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
C-A-D-R-I-D-A. Cadre.
I don't know if I've ever heard that one either.
And that cadre is a word that it's a group. It's a group of people, or isn't that right?
Yes.
How do you spell it?
C-A-D-R-E.
Oh, I've heard that word, yeah. Cadre.
C-A-D-R-E-A, I believe.
It's
I don't think it's C. I think it's C-A-D-R-E.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's a group of people
Right.
working together.
Right.
And so you said that without life and without thoughts, the Wilkin would simply be an empty theater.
Right.
So the universe would be an empty theater.
Right. Because if you can't conceive it, it
Right.
wouldn't be there.
Right. And Jack and I were talking on the way down about how Jack Horkheimer talked about imagination
Right.
and had
Yeah.
a number of programs about, that involved imagination.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
were talking about how everything originates first in our minds.
Right.
If you were gonna build invent an airplane, build an airplane, make a chair, it first has to be an idea in someone's
Right.
mind or a group of
Right.
individuals, and then you create it
Right.
from that image, from that imagination in your own mind.
Right.
And that we have that ability as human beings to create. We get an idea,
Right.
and in due time, it may not happen immediately.
Right.
You may know some of the things I've done, like in Ghana, the planetarium there.
Right.
And that project, it took like really 5 years or more.
I think it's wonderful that you're thinking about
Yeah.
doing going back to Africa.
And I love it. But I know they first got the idea in 2006 when I was over there visiting, and then we talked to a lot of people, and Joanne Young even spent some money to bring people together,
Oh yeah.
and afterwards someone said, well, nothing was really accomplished there,
Right.
but at the right time, it all came together,
Right.
and the right people, it all came together, and the planetarium suddenly developed within like 3 or 4 months.
Right.
I
Well, that's
mean-
what happened to the planetarium down at Sunset Beach.
Mhm.
This man had he was a multi-billionaire, really. I mean, he was a wealthy man, but he was not going to put all of his money into it just for him.
Mhm.
He wanted other people to. He put most of the money in it, but that's the reason it's called the Ingram Planetarium.
Interesting.
But
Well, one of the things, yeah,
the Ingram Planetarium at Sunset Beach, it's a nice facility, very nice.
well, I mean, that's the way things like that develop, where we had Dave gave a talk about Ghana at was it a WAC?
There's
I
a
think.
whack in
A
Killeen,
whack.
in Killeen,
In
Texas.
Killeen, Texas. And Liz and I were sitting there, and we went and talked to somebody else because I was still GPPA president. So we talked to the WAC presidents. We had a little bit of money, and WAC donated the money to bring Jacob from Ghana to IPS
IPS.
in Baton Rouge. So that's how he made it there, so that people got
Right.
more exposed.
Yeah. I was the only one in IPS who had met Jacob,
Oh yeah,
and no one else had met him. But I was able to convey Jacob's inspiration, what he wanted to do to
right.
people, made them excited.
Oh
To
yeah.
Jack, to Joanne, and then they wanted to meet Jacob, and they were motivated to.
But see, that's what I told you about Jack. That's what makes him who he is.
Yeah.
Well, I could tell you about our new project. We in GPPA, a couple of us members, have donated a full dome camera to Kenya
Right.
that's on its way over there right
Yeah.
now with Mark Subaru.
Subaru.
I never know how to say his
Subaru.
name. Subaru.
President-elect.
So that
Oh,
they
yeah.
can shoot
Yeah.
full dome in Kenya and send it back and help tell their story about what they're
Yeah.
doing in Kenya with a
Right.
traveling telescope. So they can take the camera out, shoot actual stuff that can go straight to the dome.
Mm-hmm.
And today with the internet, they can upload that footage
Oh yeah,
and
you
we'll
can
have
send
it.
the internet. You can send
Right.
anything.
And so now we'll be able to tell the story of what they're
Right.
doing in Kenya
Right.
with a traveling telescope, going to all these remote areas, and because the camera is barely that big,
Right.
it's not they're cheap now. The price just came down to like $349, $350, and and so by taking it over there, now they can. What I said about the planetarium is the difference between seeing conventional video and the full dome is now people can have appreciation of that environment that they're in. In other words, if I see a picture, okay, it's fine, it's flat, it's up there. But if I'm in the dome and I can now see the environment, and here's, either, the kids swarming around the telescope, and I see the landscape of Kenya around me, it's going to have a whole bit different experience than just seeing it on a flat screen.
Right.
So that kind of leads into I only have 4 questions left.
All right, okay.
I don't know how we're doing on,
We're doing fine.
we're doing fine in terms of how long the charge will last.
Yeah.
But
It'll last fine.
that leads kind of into the question, the next question about internet and so forth. As IPS president, you mentioned the telephone kept minds in touch, and feelings could be felt, attitudes and experiences paved the road to folks. So one of your main ways of communicating was by telephone.
Right.
So if you were IPS president today,
It would be the internet.
it'd be the internet.
Right, because you could not only send your thoughts, you could send your pictures, you could even put your own picture.
Right.
You could be there.
And you could do Skype.
Right.
Have you done Skype? Kind of like a phone call.
Right, it's about the same thing.
But
Yeah, that's the way I would put it.
so you have lots of tools you could use.
Right. In fact, that's almost like
Telephone television.
Yeah.
Right. From one place to another.
But yet, this is an issue that sometimes come up at council, where some people think, well, we don't need to meet in a physical location for council. It's wasting a lot of money for IPS to pay the airfares. Why don't we just do it all by Skype?
Right.
But I would suggest that there is
Yes.
a reason,
You can't do it by any other way except personal.
because you can't, if you know a person, if you made some initial contact, you can do a certain amount of business by Skype.
You can't by Skype. You can't see body language.
That's what I was just going to say. Body language, which we're not even subconsciously we're interpreting it.
Right.
We don't even know we're doing it.
That's exactly right.
And especially when you're working with individuals from all over the world,
Right.
not just from the United States,
Right.
but people from Australia, Sweden,
Right.
India, and trying to communicate just by Skype,
Right.
in my opinion, would be a nightmare.
Right. I think so too.
But there's still some people that want to, well, I won't come to the meeting, I want to Skype in.
Well, they don't have their heart into it.
Yeah.
I don't think.
So then here's an interesting, I don't remember, but this was in your article after you were president. You were ending your term as, no, you were still past president, but you wrote an article, an editorial was what the editor called it.
Right.
And it was entitled Past, Present, Future
Right.
was the
I
title
remember that.
of your article.
I remember
And
that.
and here's something you said. The accelerating advancements in science and technology were to produce many difficult problems. Here's the thing I want you to clarify. The door to knowledge was open, but now I see that it is slowly closing. Therefore, we must prepare ourselves for an unpredictable future. So what is this door of knowledge that you saw was open and now closing?
Robotics.
Robotics.
Tesla.
Well, Tesla, yeah.
They're having automobiles and trucks that go from one place
Drive
to
yourself. It drives
Right.
itself.
It drives itself. That's
Right.
robotics.
Right.
And that cuts down your imagination. That
Mhm.
cuts down your ability to, and I think that's going to erode our ability to comprehend the things around the corner.
The future, predict or think about the future.
Yeah, because I know that Stephen Hawkins just said that robotics are going to be the end of mankind.
I've read that somewhere else recently also.
And and when you really think about it, you can well, go back to 2001.
Hmm.
What did Hal do?
Right.
He thought he knew better.
He was the best. Hal was the computer, but
Right.
Hal knew more than anybody else.
Right. But you were
And I think we're getting to that.
you were writing this in 1980. Did you foresee about robotics? Is that something you
Well,
foresee?
I also thought about it from the standpoint of medical,
Medical field.
the medical field, and also robotics, because robotics has been in. They were talking about that years ago. Like, for example, when you had the first form of robotics is when you mash a button and everything goes on your thing, and all the projectors go, and
Right.
and the show is on the tape, and everything goes, and you just sit there and make sure that
Right.
everything's on.
Like a monkey pressing the
Right.
button.
Just all you do is press the button. You know, that's the way I had to do the last several years I was operating. You know, you work for a long time developing a program, and then you just mash a button and
Except, and this is the thing I always point out, you still have to introduce that topic and provide the personalized introduction and outflow with questions. So even with a purely recorded program, there's this role for the human being that sometimes people neglect. In other words, a museum director might think, oh, we can just hire some $5 an hour student and have them push the button, but it doesn't work that way, because what you need is the person to set it up to the audience and to the people, and to give them the proper perspective, and at the end to be able to answer questions.
But we're in the beginning of robotics finding out that what is a truck. There's a difference between a truck and a car.
Right.
But now, how many trucks are there? Now they're finding out that there's so many different trucks.
Right.
And well, what is it? A dump truck or
Yeah.
an oil truck? And the computer can find out through its radar and everything
They can know
else.
all those things, but what my point is that in terms of, for us in the planetarium field, of still giving the action to the audience,
Right.
you need that human introduction, because you need to explain or set it up or whatever. It's part of the theatrical nature of it, that that 50 years ago we had movies that were what were called road shows,
Right.
where they did limited engagement, Cinerama, whatever, and they had a style. There was a whole thing that went with it that you don't get from movies now, which are literally, they're just pushing a button. And I think that we lose something by that, and the same thing in the planetarium, by having that style and everything to go with it. That's what really makes it.
But yet, when you look at that though, Jack, there's something else that's called the mind. For example, Craig Jenner just developed new life.
Okay.
Craig Jenner is the one who developed and did the genome of the
Right.
human body.
Yeah, and robotics may be able to do that. I was only
And
speaking
now
in
he's
terms of
made
the
life.
planetarium
Now,
field.
now they're wanting to. Let me tell you what they've done. They've taken a unborn child through cesarean, did a heart procedure, put the child back into the
Mm-hmm.
lady to fulfill the term
Right.
of the. And do you tell me that's not? We're getting. In other words, we're going to live to be 120 and 40 years old.
And will that be a quality life?
Yeah. Because
Depends on what you do with it.
Yeah.
Because if you have the genome of the telomere on the end of the chromosome and you can keep it that way, well then you can live right on, because our genes only, well, the chromosomes will only multiply about 50 to 60 times.
Right.
And when that time is in, then the cell dies, and then the human dies a little bit at a time. But if you can keep the telomere as long, it's like a shoelace.
Right.
It's like the eye of a shoelace. If you can keep it long, you can live long time. And it's called telomerase. But a telomerase, it takes about $10,000 to get the first shot of telomerase, which is an enzyme that creates telomeres.
So there's a lot of ethical questions of where do we as the human race want to go.
That's exactly right.
Okay, I want to say something else.
Oh gosh, I could talk all day long.
I have, this is the second to last question. You also wrote in that article, Past, Present, Future, the idea of all the planetariums in the United States working together in an association that represents all, and to show that national support for planetariums is in the national interest.
Well, that's what I really thought of at the time. And Paul Campbell said that's I don't think you ought to try to do that.
Should leave the affiliates, the 7 affiliates.
Just leave, he said, why don't you just leave it like it is?
But how much influence does each individual affiliate have, say, on
Right.
Congress or
Right.
president,
Well,
or
they don't have very much.
a national
Right.
group could have more?
Yeah, a national group have more, but
I think the alternative was, though, that the regions like to keep their own independence and their own character.
Couldn't they be part,
They could,
just like they're part of IPS,
same way,
couldn't
maybe.
the affiliates be part of a national organization?
But there's going to be a question about representation and whatever.
Of course.
I will tell you that in certain other regions, they're very much afraid of GLPA just taking over everything because they're large.
Right.
Right.
And so the thought being that no, we want to keep our separate identities.
Maps is the map still going pretty good?
Oh yeah.
It's there, but it's
It has some.
it needs some energy juice.
Right.
It's not like SEPA.
No,
GLPA.
SEPA is in much better condition. GLPA is still fine. They've got a lot of membership. In WAC, I can say proudly GBPA is wonderful. But
Right.
as for the rest of them, they're up and
Right,
down.
Right.
Right. But still, why couldn't we have just like the affiliates are part of a
See,
international.
that's what I
International,
was
the-
Why
thinking.
couldn't they be
You
part
could.
of the national?
The question is, are we going to be ready to, that means setting up another structure, another set of bylaws, and I just don't know who's going to do it in order to organize it.
But it would be, as Jim wrote, a chance to impact.
Oh yeah, you need, in order to, because there was the issue with NASA for many
Right.
years, that because we were IPS, we were international,
Right.
so they really couldn't have as much to do with us as they
Right.
wanted. And Anita Soas went kind of around
Right.
the under the table and managed to help the planetarians get a lot of NASA material, even the foreign ones. So it would help for that. The
Right.
question of whether or not we can actually lobby Congress, considering how screwy they are anyway.
Well, it should be
But you-
called AAP,
Yeah.
American Association of
Yeah.
Planetarians.
I mean, you
If
have,
there
for
was
example,
such a thing,
AAS, that's a
Yeah.
national organization,
Yeah.
and it's able to,
Right.
and NSTA,
yeah,
they're able to
yeah.
have a certain amount of influence on.
Right.
The only
Politics.
question I have about that is that our membership numbers would be far less than AAS or NSTA.
of
It would be a
course.
smaller number. And can we effectively lobby, maybe
No.
the functionality, yes, but can we effectively
Right.
lobby with those small numbers?
Okay,
Go ahead.
my final question.
Okay, that's good.
And do you have any final comments as we,
No,
as
I
we end
just
this?
think
as we
it's
end this interview.
wonderful. I think it is wonderful that you're doing what you're doing. And it takes an individual like you to do it.
Coming to interview, you mean?
Yeah, to do what you're doing. And do a fantastic job of it.
Oh, thank you.
And to sit down and read it, well, we've talked about other things other than planetarium today, which even makes it that much
Yeah.
better, you know.
And
And
yeah, I feel this. I mean, I realize I was talking with Joanne Young. You know
I
Joanne
wonder if
Young.
you can see.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, we can
I'm
see,
lost.
that's
You know what?
fine.
I
Would you
didn't
like
even think
a
about the
glass of
light.
water? Dave, would you like water?
Yes, my
Yeah,
throat is a
and-
little dry.
I'm
Yeah.
doing fine, I got
You're
stuff
okay,
with
Jim,
me.
want some water? Glass of
No,
water?
But I was mentioning to Joanne, we need to look at ourselves, as I think we were speaking briefly at lunch about, and recognize our strengths.
right,
And so Joanne and I were talking, and I came to realize gradually over the years that, like for example, when I did the Ghana project, I can go and meet someone and
right.
capture their excitement and bring it back and inspire other people.
Right.
So I have,
There.
thank you. So I have the,
Give me that. There's one.
I guess,
That's the country.
I'd say talent for
There's one.
inspiring people to pursue something.
Right.
And that's what I feel that, like for example, that project I was telling you about in
Right.
Africa, that it's on my heart.
I think
want
you
to
should
do
do
something.
that. I
And,
think you should do that.
I don't know exactly where it's going to go, but
Right.
I read it inspiring. Let's see who wrote it. It might have been Wayne Dyer. You ever read any Wayne Dyer?
I don't
Uh,
recall the name.
He basically said, don't, you're inspired, don't ask how it's going to be done,
Right.
but just embrace life. And people will come like they did when I started working, trying to do the Ghana project. People just, I went to a conference in Sri Lanka, met
Right.
Joanne Young,
Oh gosh, that's
and April
wonderful.
Witt, and George and Jane Hastings.
Oh yeah.
And these were people who were important in doing the project in Ghana. So we don't need to ask how, we just need to embrace life, to see what comes and to embrace it and follow.
Right. And you've got two of the best. Let me tell you a little story.
Okay, I appreciate it.
I went to. It's about George and Jane Hastings.
Oh yeah.
I went to. I called a guy up in Virginia at the space place in. I think it was in
Richmond?
Portsmouth, Virginia.
Oh, okay.
It was in Portsmouth or Newport News. No.
Yeah, there is a NASA facility at
Well,
Newport
anyway,
News.
I had a new museum, so I wanted something to go in the museum to start with on a long-term basis. So I called him, and so I went up there. I drove a truck up there and stayed in a hotel right close by, and I took a young high school boy that had never been out of Robinson County with me. And it was George Hastings.
Oh, wow.
And George Hastings, we got to talking and carrying on, and he said he had to leave. I said, what you got to leave for? He said, well, I got a date. I said, well, I said, who is she? Tell me who she is. Well, you don't know who she is. She said that. He said, well, it's Jane Hastings. I said, let me tell you one thing. If you've got a chance, you better marry her. I said, because I don't only know her, I know her well. Because she was the planetarium girl in Richmond, Virginia. He said, how do you...
And she wrote the columns and the
right.
Oh yeah.
Terry.
And they got married. And when he bought a 32-foot sailboat down in Charleston, and he asked me to go down there with him to get it. And so I went down there with him, and we got in the sailboat. And between he and I, we brought it all the way back up, because I'd been along there several times, you know, throughout the years.
Right.
And we took it back up to Portsmouth, Virginia. That was good times.
Well, I'll just comment that the thing you asked earlier about the people that I've known. Look, I remember Jim from that COCO meeting. That's in the 70s. Dennis Simopoulos I met in 1969, and those friendships have stayed.
Right.
And that's from the planetarium community. And I told her last night about my friend Herb Schwartz. He was the planetarium director in Des Moines.
Right.
Now, I met him in 71, 72, 72 in there. And when I got married again to Liz, I got a hold of him, and he was my best man at that wedding after, 30, almost 40 years
Right.
later?
Right.
Because he was the guy that I wanted there. We had gone through things together. I knew him later when he was the director in Edmonton, and he claims that I saved his life. And I said, bull, because what it was is we were at IPS in Utah, and they made us ride that mountain ski lift to get up to where they were going to have a picnic.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And we got on the ski lift together, and then he told me after we got on it that he was deathly afraid of heights. And he was hanging on to this thing. Well, I don't like heights either. So we hung on together and got up there. And he said, well, you saved my life, because I was going to jump off or something. And I said, no. But that's somebody that you've known all those years. And that's the kind of people that I've met through the planetarium. And after all, the reason that I met my wife, Liz, is because Martin Gaskell, who was the astronomy researcher there at UNL, she was working for him, and he sent her over to, he said, "Oh, Jack always needs help. Go help him for a while."
Okay.
And so you see what you get from the planetarium.
People make a difference. And
Right.
Yeah,
to me, it's people first.
yeah,
Right.
And some of these ideas,
Right.
philosophies.
Well, I
comes
tell you
later.
what. What do you? How do you think the conversations have gone today?
Oh, they've been fantastic. I mean, I feel really invigorated, and I hope that I might be able to sometime send you an email if I have some other questions that
Oh,
you
yeah.
could take your time to respond to.
All mine is just James A. Hooks at
Yeah,
AOL.com.
I have your email,
Yeah.
and I know it's difficult to communicate over the phone,
Oh gosh.
so I won't try
Yeah.
to do
Every
that.
time. I don't know
Electronic.
why, but since they've gone to these electronic telephones, I can't make it out.
Yeah,
Now landline, that's strictly land, but it's
It's,
transmitted electronically
Right.
somewhere. So, but now most men I can understand,
hmm
but women I just cannot.
yeah,
I can hear them, but I can't distinguish the diction.
right.
If they say day, I might say way. I just can't understand them.
But I want to personally thank you for the wonderful talk we've been able to have today.
Oh, yeah.
As I said before, it's been a dream of mine to do it for several years, and it also motivates me to be sure to interview some of the other
Oh gosh,
past
yeah.
presidents. I want to go out to see Vondel
Von Dale is a
yeah.
wonderful guy.
and other presidents also I would like to
Right.
interview, because this history is important to preserve.
Right.
I would like to, you've seen the book probably by Jordan Marche II on planetarium. This book right here,
Oh yeah.
Theaters of Time and Space.
Oh yeah. I've
And,
seen that one.
But that basically concludes just as IPS was starting. And there's really been no history. I mean, a lot of it's sitting in archive files
Yeah.
down in Florida. No one's written down the history of our society
Right.
and the lessons that we can learn, that we have learned as the years that went by.
Well, you know what? You could make a book out of it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, he's talking about a book.
And you put the philosophies in there, and they're all different,
Right.
and some of them might be the same,
Hmm.
and people would enjoy reading that, because my book is a you can read one chapter and set it down.
Right.
You can read another chapter and set it down, because there's 22 stories in it,
Right.
one after the other.
And
And when I got home, I just wrote it up. And it was about 15 or 20 pages long,
yeah.
everything, when you
Right.
go from the preparation to the...
And then you started writing more stories.
And then somebody said, well, you need to do that on all your stories. So I got about 5, so then I started, every time I started taking people on these trips from Portsmouth from Elizabeth City through the Dismal Swamp, up through Portsmouth, Virginia, and then back down through the Currituck Sound.
Right.
And when I tell people about it, somebody else wants to go. Well, I take them, and then they tell somebody, and then somebody else wants to go. So I've been about 15 times.
Wonderful.
And I went this past fall, this past May, another guy, and taking my grandson, and so help me, we got up to the first lock, and it was closed
Oh no.
because the hurricane had swiped it completely clean,
Yeah.
the swamp. And when you go through the swamp, you have to pay attention so your mask won't hit the trees
Right.
And we see every kind of animal you can think of, every kind of bird that flies.
Mhm.
Carolina jasmine, wisteria,
Yeah. Wonderful.
everything on both sides of and everything. You'd be amazed at what you can see on that river. You can't, all you can do is motor through,
Yeah.
but you can't go more than 6 knots because you create wake.
Right.
And this canal was built and was proposed by George Washington, our first president.
I've read about the canal.
All right, and I go from Elizabeth City through the Pasquotank River to the canal, and then for 24 miles from there to Deep Creek, Virginia. And once you get into Deep Creek, Virginia, and you go about 30 minutes and you make a left turn, you're in the Elizabeth River. And everybody I take just are overwhelmed with the battleships.
Oh wow.
And see, you have to stay in the middle.
Right.
You got to stay between the green buoy and the red buoy. You got to stay there. If your motor quits, you got to throw out your anchor or something because you can't go over. And submarines, aircraft carriers, I mean they're way up yonder. And we're right there in them.
Wow.
And they're overwhelmed. They can't believe it. I said, this is where your tax money is.
Yeah. So how do you think the interviews went today? The talk?
Oh, I think it's been wonderful. And in more ways than just one. And I remember seeing you in Baton Rouge. And I understood completely why you didn't have time. Because that didn't bother me not one bit in the world. And I just think I think you've got some great ideas, and if you can put this book together, or whatever you do with it, I think it.
I'd start probably with writing some articles for the planetarium.
Right. And then just incorporate them into a book.
Yeah.
I just think it, and I've just got another friend, is what it is.
Wonderful.
A friend for life.
Thank you.
And I mean that for sure. I mean that
I know you do.
from the bottom of my heart. Dave, you don't meet many people like that.
That is true. People that you feel a kinship with,
Right.
what do you say, soulmate almost,
Right.
that has the same perspective on the planetarium, and not just the planetarium, but life.
Right. Life
You
in
and I
general.
share
And where you've done leadership.
Yeah.
Right.
And
As
both of us
president.
have been presidents.
Right.
That's some of it. But I know in other ways too, we connect, the
Right.
two of us.
And I think we've got a lot to talk about in the future too.
Oh, I hope so. The next time I come down.
Right. And make it a habit of coming down to
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you'll enjoy Florida.
Yeah. I'm sure I will.
Have you
I've
been there?
I've been there several
Oh
times.
yeah, okay.
And I've been to South Carolina several times too, but
Long time
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
a long time ago.
Oh
I
yeah,
used to have a friend that lived in Lexington,
oh yeah,
and I would go down there and visit them occasionally.
oh yeah.
But yeah, there's so many places I want to go. That's
But I
one
want
thing.
Jack to talk to his wife about this violinist,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and her name is Julia Lynn, L-Y-L-Y-N-A, is Lynn, L-Y-N-A or I-N or something, L-Y-I-N or something like that, or L-Y-E.
Is she a student or on faculty?
She's a student,
We should
She's
be
a
able to look her
nursing
up.
student.
Okay.
She's originally from Wilmington, but her grandmother, is from Texas, but she married a doctor from Nebraska, from somewhere out west, and they moved to Lumberton years and years ago, and they had children, and they moved, and I think it was their daughter that married another doctor in Wilmington, and it's their granddaughter. And I fell in love with her, to be honest with you.
Well, I've got all this recorded, so we've got that. As I usually say, it will now be turned over to Dave and the FBI or somebody
And connections, Joe.
in
Right.
connections.
Because you just referred someone to Jack. I learned that, as president and as past president of IPS, I don't know everything, but I
Right.
know people. I have connections with people.
Right.
I often call Jack when I was in Kenya the last time, helping those people with their project. We had some questions about technical issues about a
Right.
certain projector. I said, I don't know anything about that, but I
Wow.
know someone that might.
Right.
So we Skyped Jack.
Yeah.
And
And when Liz was looking for a Star Bethlehem program, and the ones that are left in Full Dome in the U.S. are pretty bad,
right.
and I went, I know who's got one. Dennis just made one in
Right.
2012.
Right.
And so that's the one that's running there now, which is it's Dennis's show from Athens.
Oh yeah, and maybe this year, sometime during December. Well, December 15th, we're having about 40 people here. It's I don't know what you call it, but it's that's why all the people were here today. They were getting ready to come in Monday and do all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna put new straw in the yard, and
Okay.
spruce it up,
Nice.
you know, and we're gonna have hors d'oeuvres and have about 40 or 50 people, and it'll run. It's on the 15th, and it'll run from 6 to 9 or something like that.
Very nice.
6 to 8 or something. And
Yeah, but whenever, if you ever feel the need, come visit us in Columbia, and I'll just let you know.
but I want you to talk to your wife about having this girl
We'll try to find her. We should be able to find her.
play the violin. And what I want her to play is it's an Irish tune,
Oh, okay.
and it'll break your heart. And in the planetarium, I think that would be the ideal thing to just
Have you ever seen
and let the stars roll
the
over.
group called Secret Garden? They're from Norway and Ireland. It's a keyboardist, a songwriter from Norway, and a concert violinist from Ireland who formed this group. They've been together 15, 20 years now, at least. And I should send you some of their music. It's great music. And they write, and there's some of it that sounds Irish, and some of it has the Norwegian feel to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's really, really interesting music. And I'll get you some, and you need to listen to that, because I think kind of what you're thinking of is what I thought when I heard that music, that it would go nicely in the planetarium.
Right, and especially if you have her down on, and all she needs is a light, just a small light, to read her music, and play that. And I tell you what, when she played that Irish tune, the tears came. I don't know what it is. I've got a grandson that plays meditation. It'll blow your mind. I can't stand it. There's in the last half of the thing, there's something about it that just tears me up. And he can play. He plays for the Charleston Orchestra.
Oh,
So he's only 12.
music
And
has
that's
great
the reason
power.
I've been listening to violin for so long, and this girl is almost like she started when she was about 4 or 5 years old.
Prodigy. I'll pull up on the laptop. I might have something. I'm going to stop
And her
this now.
name is
Just
Julia Lind.